So I wanted to like this game. I really did, and I kind of do to an extent. But this game, it's not good. I'll just say that it's not good. And like Firefly Studios has had a record of mixed reception on or not mixed reception, but mixed givings on how well they deliver products. Like when they were doing like the 2D Stronghold games, like Stronghold One, Stronghold Crusader, those were good games. I like both of them. I still love both of them. I still play them every now and again. Stronghold 2 was fucking dog shit. It was buggy, it was bad, and then converting to that 3D engine just didn't do them any favors. And Stronghold Legends, I liked the idea, the whole fantasy thing where they included like Transylvania, the Norse stuff, and then also the Legend of Arthur and whatnot. Like including all of that was good in terms of conception, but execution wise, oh boy, did they fuck the pooch. And then they did Stronghold 3. I skipped over that because I was like, I don't have faith in them. And Stronghold 3 was a fucking disaster. Big shocker, I know, right? Um, but then they came out with Stronghold Crusader 2, and that was really good. It's like, oh, okay, you got it. You figured this shit out. You've got the 3D engine down. I mean, walls are questionable. Although, I mean, I played Total War Warhammer, and I give that game all the praises in the world. Even though I think Siege Battle's fucking suck ass in it, but um, Stronghold Crusader 2 was still an upgrade from all the bullshit we've been getting, from Legends to 3 to, or from 2 to 3 to Legends and all that other shit. Like, those games were bad. Like, it was almost like Firefly Studios had, like, a realization of, like, oh, hey, maybe we should fucking test our games or some shit. And come Stronghold Warlords. I was actually excited for it, especially since Total War Three Kingdoms was a letdown. Like I was such an underwhelming game. I played maybe 3 hours of it, and I was bored to my fucking. I was just bored of it. I was like, yeah, it's just another fucking entry. Like they Creative Assembly, I feel like has put more resources towards the Warhammer franchise than they have to the historical ones. So for those that like play Total War for the historical titles and you're upset with how Three Kingdoms turned out, I get it because Three Kingdoms just didn't hook me. Like that is the first Total War game that did not hook me. Like from the get go. Like usually when I've played it for about a couple hours and I maybe throw in a couple mods, I'm like I'm good to go. That one, no, not so much. So I was playing Stronghold Warlords earlier, and I was fighting against Genghis Khan. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna kill some time. Shoot the shit, kind of fuck around with this game. Excuse me. And I noticed the unit cap was like really fucking low. Like I think in Stronghold Crusader 2, the unit cap's like 500 if you're like doing a 2v2 or 2v2, 2v1. Man, my glasses are like crooked as shit. Like it's starting to fucking bug me. Um, but I noticed that it was at 200. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, this is a game where you're supposed to like, Jesus, they're even more crooked. Okay, that's better-ish, but anyways, but it's like it's a domain game where you have to basically get other warlords to follow suit with you, so that way they can provide resources, money, troops, etc. to you. The base defense that the AI gives itself, it's bad. It's fucking horrible. Like they cannot protect themselves to save their lives. They have like maybe two archers and two axemen. That's it. And so I was like, okay, I can make peace with that because it's like, okay, protect the lords that you're supposed to govern over, but then you have this system where you build embassies and shit like that, and it kind of generates a secondary income, so that way you can like sway lords to your side. But you could have and bear with me, you could have the 10 most elite fucking troops standing right next to that warlord, archers all around his wall, but then the AI can just bribe, or hell, even the player, I believe, could even bribe this guy to be like, "Yeah, I'm against you now," even though you've pretty much got him under full blown military occupation. I'm sorry, that's immersion breaking. And the AI itself focuses on one specific area. And I noticed that when I was playing throughout the various campaigns, the Hideyoshi, the Genghis Khan ones, and all that shit. I noticed that the AI only focuses on ones that you yourself are trying to get with. But like if you send in like a military army to occupy it, then they're like, oh well, lost cause, I guess. But when you're trying to do the diplomacy thing, the AI just overwhelms you. And it got annoying. I'm like, this system is so fucking broken. There is no point to the system at all. It's better to just run in, conquer the shit, and then be done with it. Because if the AI decides to re-recruit that lord that you took over, as long as you have your army surrounding them, then who fucking cares how much diplomacy points that fucker has? Like, who cares? It doesn't matter because the second they take it over, your guys are going to kill the warlord and bring him back to the fold. And so it actually got to a comical point in one of the missions. I think it was the Hideyoshi campaign where this one warlord bounced back and forth to the point where I'm like, if this were historically accurate, this motherfucker would have been executed like yesterday. Like, come the fuck on. And then as I was playing, like Genghis Khan was using a unit called a general, which is somebody that gives like a big armor buff to units around them. And I think I'm actually curious as to either A, they stack, or B, if generals can buff other generals. And you know, if the two of them are intertwined, we got a problem because arrows. I mean, arrows obviously aren't going to do shit because they're like heavily armored and all that shit. I'm like, okay, cool, fine, whatever. But when it comes to crossbows, which are supposed to be anti-armor, that's anti-armor range, they don't do shit. Like my fucking basic bitch fucking auxiliary cavalry had better time with them than a crossbow unit, which costs, I believe, like twice the amount that the fucking mounted dude does. Then again, you have to build the stable, and the stable's like 200 gold, but that's neither here nor there. But like units like that should have a cap. Like there should be, you should only be allowed to recruit so many of them. I mean, they have cap on buildings like embassies. You can only have two of them, and then there's another one you can build that does the same thing, but it's cheaper. It's like half the price or whatever, and it's capped at two as well. So I'm like, why are you capping buildings but not capping units? Like there are certain units in the game that should definitely be capped. They should not be able to be mass produced because, like, let's say, like I said, unit cap's 200. 200 samurai, yeah, nobody's gonna fucking stop that. Nobody. I mean, you could have your horse archers run around them for days and days and days, but they ain't gonna do enough damage to actually make an impact. And I could just send them all in and like bitch stomp the fucking lord that I'm trying to kill. I'm just curious as to what the idea was when it comes to the game design because it's kind of a general, um, like, yeah, you're in an you're in an Asian country, but there's no like differentiation between how you play as a Mongol or a Chinese or a Japanese or a Korean or whatever. There's no differentiation. It is all just like blanket stated, and that's fine. That's fine in terms of in terms of how you design, because like they did the same thing in a Crusader, where like you could be a European lore, but still use a bunch of fucking Arabian units. Like, fine, whatever. And, it gives player creative control as to what they're role playing as. Like, they don't have a restriction or anything like that. They can restrict themselves. But it kind of makes it a little, it kind of removes the flavor with the AI because the AI can do the exact same thing. And when I was fighting against Genghis Khan, I didn't feel like I was fighting against Genghis Khan. I felt like I was fighting against like somebody that didn't know if they wanted to be a Chinese or a Mongol type thing. Because like, yes, he was using mounted units, which the Mongols were famous for using. Mounted archers, mounted spearmen, etc. But he was also using heavily armored units. And like, Mongols were not known for using heavily armored units. They were known for their mobility, their speed. Um, and on top of that, as you see that list I've got up there, the AI Lord variety sucks. There's only four of them you can fuck with. I'm assuming they're gonna add more because there are skins that you can download. Because there's the one that I was using when I was fighting Genghis Khan was Ieyasu Tokugawa, and I'm thinking like, okay, well, if you include Ieyasu but you also have Hideyoshi, what's gonna be the difference between the two of them? Like in Shogun Total War, I forgot what the Tokugawa specialty was. I think they kind of like took over the Imagawa and like they had ninja specialists, and then the Oda, which is who Hideyoshi would have belonged to, they had what the fuck are they called? Ashigaru. I think they're more or less peasant spearmen. Like they could just like shit them out like crazy, and they had like perks to them so that they were better than everybody else's Ashigaru. And so I'm like, I'm trying to think like how you would like change the variety and how these warlords work, because in Crusader 2 you had distinct flavors, and they even brought in some old faces like the rat, the pig, the wolf, or they call them the jackal, but it's the wolf. And you bring all these players in, and like they have their own way of doing things, and they kind of introduce different challenges to you. Whereas in this one, each warlord kind of feels the same. Like there's no real flavor. It's just one uses mounted cavalry, one uses heavily armored units, and then another one uses like the more basic infantry, like the kind of the tutorial boss, if you will, like the ones that get you familiar with the game. But it's like, well, what's the point of playing against any of them if every time I load the game it fucking crashes? And it crashed like 5 or 6 times. I thought maybe it's because I had Bandicam on because I was going to take a screenshot and like have that there instead of this fucking boring ass list of shit that you see there. And I was also going to maybe include a little bit of video footage because like there's potential in this game, especially since for the fucking first time and forever, there is actual unit pathing where like guy A and guy B will actually stand away from each other, not like fuse into one person like you could in like all the previous fucking games. And that was one of the main problems I had with this game because like melee fighters, like you don't know what's going on. And matter of fact, like the only thing like light infantry like spearmen and Macemen, I wouldn't consider Macemen to be a light infantry. They'd be medium infantry, but like light and medium infantry against like heavy infantry, they fought. They were done. They were out. Here, like I said, I had my basic bitch cavalry like take out like 4 generals. So it's like melee has an actual role to play now instead of just heavily armored guys are gonna like stop everything. Whereas the light melee guys, like the only thing they're really good for is getting to the range units, and that's if they can even reach them before the range units like snipe them out of existence. Because that was kind of the big downfall of a lot of like spearmen, for example, in the original game and in Stronghold Crusader. The only thing they were good for was like early game defense. After that, their usage, like they are not a versatile unit. Like their usage was kind of obsolete. Like Macemen were your best bet once you got to like mid to late game. Macemen were your best bet for like fast moving, heavy hitting, but also durable infantry. Spearmen, not so much. And that's kind of something I appreciate about games like StarCraft and Warcraft, where every unit has a role to play. Like you could use footmen and grunts from the human and orc campaign or human and orc races, and they can still serve a function. They can still do shit. Whereas in Stronghold, like not so much. In Total War, disposable units are kind of useless, especially since you still have that freaking 20 unit cap or 20 I guess 20 regiment cap, but I still don't understand like why you can bring like 2 generals, which is 40 total, but you can't just have one army with 39 additional units. I just never understood that, and it would save the player, I guess, time and money on investing in generals. But anyways, I'm getting off topic. So yeah, I tested out the map editor. It's all right. I mean, it works, I guess, but it's meh. The campaigns, I played the Chinese one. I think it was like a Vietnamese, Thailand one or something. And then I played most of the Hideyoshi one, and then I played the Genghis Khan one. The campaign's okay. It's not great. It's not bad. It's just okay. Nothing to write home about. I think Stronghold Crusader 2 had better shit. I think the original Stronghold had better shit, and I think Stronghold Crusader 2 had better shit. Although I would put Stronghold Crusader 2's campaign over Stronghold Crusader's campaign. And then you also had that skirmish trail or whatever where you had to fight against various AI opponents with certain conditions applying, and like that was fun. And I have to beg the question, where's that here? I'm like, oh wait, you can't really do that because you've only got 4 fucking AI opponents to choose from, so you wouldn't really be able to do it. Now we might get DLC later on, and we're gonna get patches, I'm sure, because Firefly, they like I said, I've got mixed reception with them. Like they, I don't think they listen to what the fuck fans want. Like their fans, they don't listen to them. Is what I'm feeling right now. Because I feel like I've been giving something I didn't really fucking want, and it's is it as bad as Total War Three Kingdoms? I don't know. I really don't know because both games are really vanilla, very basic. But yeah, at least with Stronghold Warlords, I didn't pay full retail price. I think I paid what was it, like $35. So I was like, okay, at least I didn't give them full game price. And I didn't pre-order, so I've learned my lesson about pre-ordering. Every time I pre-ordered a game in the last like 2 years, the game has been shit. It's either been shit or it's been disappointing. Because I'm thinking of Resident Evil 3 remake, and I'm like, that game, excuse me, that game wasn't shit. It was just disappointing. I need some water. Excusez-moi. But yeah, I mean, I think you guys get my point. Like, the game's disappointing. It's underwhelming as shit. There's potential here, but potential's not good enough to sell me on this game because I thought Legends had potential because of its ideas of including, Transylvania, Arthur, and Norse mythology and shit like that, and it kind of fell flat on its ass. But yeah, this game, I'm not going to recommend it to anyone. Not at its current state. This game is not good. It's mediocre at best, and I hate to say it because I want to like Firefly Studios' products. I really do because I love the idea of a castle builder, and that's kind of the only real way to play this game at this point is just do the castle sim thing where it's like I think it's called free build. Like that's the best way to play the game at this point. And that in the campaign, skirmish, stay away from it. Multiplayer, stay away from it because the unit cap's at 200. And that is like stupid low. Like that's the lowest I think I've ever seen. I don't understand why it is that way, especially when you have Age of Empires 2 remastered at like, I think which it has a unit cap of 250 or actually no, I think it goes up to 500 now. And that's you could have a full blown I think it's up to 8 players. You could have full blown 8 player multiplayer game, 8 people, each with a population limit of 500, and they can still like get shit done. Whereas this one, not so much. Either they're over taxing the engine, or they just need to get a new fucking engine because 200 cap. I'm sorry, that sucks. Like I can't do shit the way that I want to with a 200 cap. Like, and I think I saw somewhere in one of the fucking threads that you can adjust it for skirmish, but you can't for multiplayer. And I'm wondering, like, okay, if it's 200 when it's just 1v1, what the fuck is it when you have like a 6 man fucking campaign? Is it like 50? Like, how the fuck are people supposed to get shit done if you're capping the unit so damn low? That's the main reason why I'm making this video is because the unit cap fucking sucks. Like, fix this shit. Like, fix this shit, please. Because you can't function this way. The AI can do it, but the players can't. Because the AI has its way of making shit work, I guess. I don't know. And then fix the fucking diplomacy thing. Because it gets really fucking annoying when you're trying to save up that shit and use it on a warlord. But then the AI just keeps outbuying you because I'm pretty sure they have like little cheats to accommodate them and whatnot. But anyways, I've gone on for damn near 20 minutes. I think you guys get the point. This game is not good. I will not recommend it. It is maybe a 5 out of 10 right now for me. So save your money. Play Stronghold Crusader 2 or play the old school Stronghold or the old school Stronghold Crusader, but avoid this game for now. Wait for it to like have a price drop and get some patches and some DLCs in because right now it is not worth the fucking price that it is sitting at. I've been Devil Blight and I'll see you all next time.